All right, Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory is to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and honors to you, sincere Akim out there that's continuing to labor in his work in all diligence, truth, faith, and sincerity. That is the book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. And pretty much, this precept applies to you men out there that's watching the videos or subscribing to the different live streams out there. Hey, the thing is, you can watch the videos and be edified, but you got to get understanding. All right, you can't just watch the videos just to watch it, because I know when I first was coming into this truth, all right, live stream thing wasn't popping, man. All right, which basically that's a telltale sign that Yahweh Shai is on the way, because he's pushing that truth on a high level, man. Me and one of the Akim was discussing that today, all right? Because when you go on a live stream, not only you have a brother or brothers edifying, you also got different brothers coming up on the comment board, and they putting all type of precepts out there, man. All right, brothers on the fly, just putting precepts out there. So if you one that's watching, you got to take notes. You can't just be watching it for entertainment, like Ezekiel the 33rd chapter outlines that, all right? Well, men basically come into this thing just to get entertained. But you got to approach this thing with a sense of urgency, all right? Getting understanding for yourself. Why? Because the times that is, to come, all right, this internet going to be shut down. You're not going to be able to ride the wave of another man, all right? You're going to have this truth digested and deeply rooted in yourself to benefit you, all right? So it could be the stability of your times. When these calamities and different perils befall the planet, all right, you will be able to get through those times. Why? Because you will have been, digested this truth, all right? Because the famine of the word is on the way, man, all right? This word is going to dry up. And there's different legislations on the book, like I think it's called the kill switch, all right, where they looking to shut down this internet, man. So basically, you got to approach this truth and not only, just get wisdom, all right, but you got to get understanding, which basically means, the things that's concerning your salvation, all right? Because once you get the true and the proper understanding of these scriptures, you know what's required of you and know what it takes to be delivered, all right? And you see a lot of brothers out there who be, for the most part, a lot of the brothers sincere, they ask different questions, but I rarely ever seen, a brother ask a question concerning salvation. All right, what could I do to be saved? And the answer to that has been well documented. Do this work, all right? So that's what you should be aspiring to do, all right? Watch the videos, take notes, all right? Learn this truth where you could be able to go out and teach other brothers, man. Because that's how you're going to receive your reward. Don't think you're going to receive a reward just by watching another man do the work, all right? So you should want to be a part of that ilk of the men that's doing the work so you can receive a reward. Matter of fact, scripture come to mind, all right, the parable of the two sons. That's in Luke 15th chapter. I think it's around 15th verse, maybe. We'll see. Yep. Now we'll start at the 18th verse. Luke 15 and 18. I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. So that's what you should be inspiring to be, man. A hired servant. Why? Because the servant is going to get rewarded. Not just the guy that's coming on the video saying shalom and great video. All right? And this is not a thing that, push brothers out there. You might have just came into this thing maybe a couple of weeks ago. But look, man, if you've been in this thing like a month or a couple of months, you can push this word, because the level that this word is coming out on a higher level than it ever has. So you should have the basics and the milk to teach, man. Otherwise, you're basically stealing. all right? Because the scripture tells you, woe to those who steal messages from each other, man. And that basically means you getting the word, but you're not distributing it out to nobody else. Sort of like if we're in a desert and you find a water hole and you get the water for yourself. And you don't go and give nobody else the water, man. So that's the same thing. When you find this truth, all right, you can't just hoard it up for yourself. You got to learn this truth, digest it, so you can go out and teach. And that should be your motivation behind this thing, man. Not just come in and watch the videos, all right? And to come on the coming board with attempts to flatter the apostles or the men that's doing the work. All right? You got to be sincere. All right? This is the book of Romans, chapter 15, and verse 4. No, Salakia, Romans, Salakia, Romans chapter 14, all right, and verse 5. One man esteemeth one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. Yeah, that's right. So you want to be able to have this truth in your own mind, all right? Rooted and locked in your mind, all right? Because, if just say if you're trying to get to a destination, you might have a person that give you directions 1 or 2 times, maybe 3 times. But the 4th or 5th time, you want to be able to reach that destination on your own, all right? You will be more content with that. You'll feel more better and at ease if you persuaded in your own mind, instead of have to be at a point where you always waiting on another brother to bring a video out. All right? So with all you're getting, make sure you get understanding. Don't take this truth for granted. All right? Like this is just some form of entertainment. You got to approach this thing with a sense of urgency. Get in this truth, watch the videos, and take notes. I know, speaking on my own testimony, when I was coming into this truth, man, you look around my house, every loose piece of paper had precepts written on it. All right? That's what you do. All these precepts coming out on these live screens, write the precepts down. And in your leisure time, go back, study the precepts. Then guess what? Yahweh Shah sup with you, man. And he'll open things up to you that will have you persuaded, all right, in your own mind. All right, matter of fact, let's look up this word persuaded. All right? Let's look up this word persuaded.
Strong's G 4135. Play Rafareo.
Yep. To bear or bring full, to make full, to cause a thing to be shown to the full, all right? To fulfill the ministry in every part, to carry through to the end, accomplish things that have been accomplished, to fill one with any thought, conviction, or inclination, to make one certain, to persuade, convince one, to be persuaded, fully convinced or assured, to render, incline, or bent on. Yeah, so you see, it's a lot of key words come up, man. All right? To accomplish, all right? To carry through the end. And to persuade and convince, and see, all that goes hand in hand. Because if you convince or you persuaded, let's just say, like I was saying, a destination, a road trip. If you convinced on what direction to go, you're going to make it to the end. You're going to make it to that destination. So that's the spirit you got to be in, man. All right? Being convinced in this truth, all right? In your own mind. Not just winging it and putting all your stock into another man, hoping another man do another video, all right? So you can basically be entertained. It's not about that. You got to approach this thing with sincerity, all right? Take notes and build yourself up so you can teach and you can receive that reward, all right? Because, see, this thing is all about wisdom. When you guys be watching those, when you sitting in those live streams, you sitting at a wise counsel, man. All right? You actually sitting in a wise counsel. Because the Most High don't deal with foolishness, man. The Lord say he have no pleasure. He take no pleasure in fools. All right? Wisdom of Solomon 7:28 come to mind. All right? The Most High dwelleth with none, but he that have wisdom. All right? Salaki, the Most High loveth none, but he that dwelleth with wisdom. All right? So, that's the spirit you got to be in, man. Digesting this truth, all right, and basically getting grounded and settled to the point where you can go out here and you can teach, man, instead of, rallying on someone else, okay? This is the book of Daniel, chapter 12, in verse 10. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. Yeah, that's why the scripture tell you, with all that getting, get understanding. All right? Because when you really understand this truth, then you are counted as wise. All right? And basically, with that, you will be counted as righteous. So, to you brothers out there, man, when you're watching these videos and you on the live screen, or you coming across these men as laboring and pushing his word, don't take it for granted, man. Make sure you get the understanding of these scriptures, man, because it's only going to benefit you, man. All right? Can no man get into the kingdom? All right? There's plenty of brothers who cool, all right, but you got to make it to the kingdom yourself, man. You got to fully be persuaded. So I hope this was an edifying video. Until the next time, shalom.